Well, the Jags are officially the champs of the AFC South division, and they are in the middle of an 8-game winning streak. Here to explain how we got here and the challenges that remain, we are joined by Alessandra Pontbriand. She is sportscaster with our news partner, News for Jax. Welcome back from vacation. First of all, nice to see you again in person.
Thank you. I was actually right next to the beach last Monday, on a playground when I called in because I was on a run. So I would rather be there, to be honest. But hey, listen, the Jaguars just won, so I'm happy that we're here.
To that. No, I'm glad that you were here too. And games, I'm guessing the stadium are getting a lot more fun to be at. I mean, we were sort of talking about them in our first section about, the cost, but just the enthusiasm is really, just unavoidable right now. You really have a team that has, surprisingly, as I mentioned, turned from like 4-13 to 13-4. Mm-hmm. It is quite a turnaround.
Literally. I mean, no one would have thought that the Jaguars, who, by the way, many people are saying the Jaguars are the Super Bowl favorite now. Who would have thought that? Wow. I know I saw Hard Rock Bets posted, and John Daly picked the Jaguars. Fox Sports, they were talking about in their pregame show. And Julian Edelman said, the Jaguars are, you got to watch out for them. Who would have thought that? Like you said, they were one of the worst teams last year. Now they're one of the best teams. And, they could go to the Super Bowl. There's a very highly percentage chance that, they may be going to California just because they're playing so good right now. And I actually asked Antonio Johnson after the game in the locker room, I was like, how crazy is it? I mean, you guys were from where you were last year to where you are this year. And he was like, it's quite crazy. But he was like, they brought in the right people, the right coaches, the right players to be able to have this success that they're having. And now they get to reap the benefits, but they only get to, be excited for one day because now they really have to focus on the Buffalo Bills, who are a really good team. They also have one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and they'll be hosting them Sunday at 1 p.m.
And so they are South Division Chiefs, but they're not in the toughest division. And so they're going to start to be moving to play teams that are maybe more challenging.
No, absolutely. I mean, the AFC South, it's definitely not the most competitive division, but it is good. They were neck and neck with the Texans for that title, but of course the Jaguars won it. By the way, that was the third time in program history that they were able to win the AFC South title, which is quite crazy. I think 2017 and 2022 were the other 2 years. But the Buffalo Bills are really good. They've been in the playoffs. They're kind of mainstays in the playoffs. They have Josh Allen, who's, one of the superstars and the leaders of the NFL. So yeah, they're going to have a tough test, but no game is going to be easy in the playoffs. Obviously, you have the best teams competing against each other, hoping to get to the Super Bowl. So, it's so different. And I think I'm going to ask the players this in the locker room this week is like the mindset kind of has to change because if you don't win, you're done. Your season's over with. So the temperature kind of turns up a notch or two in the playoffs just because your whole entire season is really on the line.
And so let's just talk about some fun moments. Cam Little with another, major, this is like his second record-setting field goal.
Yeah, so he hit the record earlier this year, which was a 68-yarder in Las Vegas, and then he just, that was 67, and this past one was 68. So he basically has the two longest field goals in NFL history, and he's like 21 years old, I'm pretty sure, which is insane. Yeah, by the way, awesome guy. Like, Cam Little is he's a phenomenal kicker. He's an even better person off the field. I could not rave about him anymore. And I think after the game, he was so excited. Obviously, he had a big smile on his face, but he was like, we got to keep going. He's been a huge part of this success for the team, and hopefully he can continue that in the playoffs.
Yeah, he really has been. And so what are you players that you're most going to be kind of watching to make sure that they're up to par and performing like they need to?
I mean, everyone's going to look at the quarterbacks in this game. You have Trevor Lawrence, who's playing the best of his career. He just set the franchise record for the most touchdowns in a season, beating Blake Bortles, who set the record back in 2015. So, you're going to look at Trevor Lawrence. Everyone's obviously talking about him right now. And then you're also looking at Josh Allen on the other side. Like, you can't talk enough about how good of a quarterback he is. But I think for the Jaguars defense, you got to look up front, especially at the front seven. They have to be able to disrupt Allen because if he has the time, he's going to make the plays. And so, this is a really big test for the defense and Anthony Campanelli's defense, who, by the way, is one of the best in the league, if not the best in the league at this point.
And Liam Cohen, I mean, he really gets, I guess, the bragging rights. How much does all of this have to do with just this change in leadership?
Everything. I mean, it's not just Liam Cohen, too. It's James Gladstone. It's Tony Baselli. I think those three. One, you can see that they're like friends off the field. Like you can see that they actually like each other. And I think that is a huge part of why they're having so much success because they can work really well together. And obviously, they made the bets on the rookies. They made the bets on the guys that they brought in, and free agency and during the trade deadline. And obviously, those bets have paid off. So now we get to talk about their success. So it's great. I'm really happy for Jaguars fans, for Jacksonville to be able to get this success. And I'm hoping that we get to go to California.
Yeah, that's right. I hope you get to go to California too. Alessandra Pontbriand, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks,
Appreciate
guys.
it.